Hey guys, it's Street Designer. I'm doing their segment of Let's Talk. And today I like to switch things up. I don't like to do the same kind of topic. I like to switch things up. Today's gonna be on sports, and the sport today is gonna be NBA because this week there was a lot of NBA talk. Um, Not less than a couple weeks ago, 2 3 weeks ago, Shaq retired. Definitely Hall of Famer. There will be nobody like Shaq in the history of the NBA again. I don't think. I mean, he bullied down people in the paint. I mean, he was a beast on defense, rebounds. Uh, he's definitely gonna be missed. Without him, the game is gonna be a little bit different. I mean, it's gonna go on without him regardless, just like it has for many others. Um, yeah, another person who retired. Before we get to that, though, today marks the 1 year anniversary of LeBron's infamous decision that was casted on SportsCenter. Um, if you don't care about sports or NBA, you probably don't even care about LeBron for real. And if you do like the NBA, unless you're a Miami Heat or a LeBron fan, you probably don't even care. I mean, personally, I really don't give a fuck about LeBron. Um, I mean, I will give him respect. He is a phenomenal athlete, but I think he is pretty naive. Um, he's real cocky, and not in a sense where I think everybody should have confidence in their abilities and themselves. Period, in anything in life. Um, but you know, he's he's cocky to the point where he hasn't really done anything. Yes, he's he won MVP. He's gotten his teams to the finals. You know, but at the same time, you haven't won a champion. You have no rings. So I mean, and There's still great players in every sport that hasn't won a ring, but they're still considered one of the best. Uh, but the thing with LeBron is, you know, you're building. He basically is building his own hype. If you're gonna do that, you really need to have something more than just MVPs and stuff to grab. You need to at least have a ring, and he doesn't have that, and so that's what makes him no not as great as him. I mean he's a great player still. Um, I really found it how it was challenged during the NBA Finals that him and Dwayne Wade chose to mock Dirk Nowitzki for having a cold, and it's weird how every NBA Finals someone always has a cold or something. I didn't realize in the summertime it was flu season, but regardless, I mean, LeBron, you just don't do that. Don't mock other players, especially someone as good as him. I mean, I'm gonna give Dirk the credit. I mean, he doesn't seem like the person who lie. I mean, you don't know these players unless spend time with them. But he doesn't seem like that person who just I'm gonna say I have a cold, so my game sucks. They could just say, "Oh, he has a cold." Dwayne Wade, you definitely had no room to say something. I remember in the finals last time you were in the finals, you had a cold, and so for you to make fun of Dirt, and oh yeah, I remember an incident. Um, I forget what year it was, but they were playing against the Houston Rockets, and he was covering Shane Battier, I believe, and his hand kind of collided with the inside of Shane Battier's shoulder, and somehow that dislocated Dwayne Wade's shoulder. And now I never had dislocated shoulder. I know some people. I actually seen some people that are friends of mine that dislocated their shoulder, and they would just be able to pop it back in. They didn't. They looked like they was in pain, but they weren't. You know, Dwayne Wade, he was like, and what was made worse of all, he had like he couldn't walk. I mean, you have a dislocated shoulder. Why you? They brought out a wheelchair for it. I mean, get grow the fuck up, Dwayne Wade. You're gonna talk about code. You're the biggest drama queen probably in the game, other than LeBron. So I guess it's perfect that both of y'all are on teams. Um, by the way, Chris Bosh, I used to make fun of Chris Bosh that he plays no defense, and he still doesn't. But he's a career offensive foe, and he did try defensively this time. I mean, Dirk is just a great player. Um, I always used to make fun of Chris Bosh because when I used to live in Atlanta and he used to play for Georgia Tech, we used to see his games, and I'm like, he's a bad defensive player. I mean, yeah, he blocked shots, but and he scored points, but he lets as many points scored as the opponent. I mean, it's weird. It's like, but he actually did a good job this series, and his teammates just failed him. Um, so I'm paying my respects to him. On to the other news: Deron Williams, point guard for New Jersey Nets, that was traded mid-season from the Utah Jazz, decided to go to overseas to Turkey, I believe, and that's kind of surprising, but not really. It's only surprising because it's a big name like Deron Williams. I mean, yeah, there have been air players like Josh Childress and AI. You even had Brandon Jennings before he entered the NBA. Instead of going to college, he was supposed to go to Arizona. He went straight to play overseas, and those are big names. And Al Iverson is a big name, but that at this point in his career, he's not at his prime. Um, for Deron Williams, who's pretty much in the prime of his career, I know the Nets suck, and I know the NBA's going to lockout, which I probably think is some of his reason, and he's not really getting no money from the Nets. He's going overseas. And my thing is it going to be a 1 year thing, or because if there's a lockout, then I kind of understand, go play overseas. But is it going to be one of those? I'm gonna spin over here because they offer more money than this, and that'll be interesting. I mean, will other NBA players follow him? I think they will. I mean, but I don't think it'll be anyone near his status as far as a superstar. I believe Sonny Weems from the Toronto Raptors. He went overseas as well. Um, who's he's actually a pretty good mid-range jump shooter, and yeah, high flyer. What's funny is he could resemble a mini Vince Carter back in the day. Um, and moving on to the breaking news. Okay, Shaq retired, but now we have another great center who retired. Yao Ming retired today. Um, Chinese center that played for the Houston Rockets. Uh, well, before I say he retired, he said he will retire, and I kind of believe him because for the past couple of seasons, he hasn't played because of injuries, and that's what happens to tall people in the NBA. All that weight on their legs when they're coming down and stuff, something happens to their leg, their knees, their foot, their ankle, and it's been all that for Yao Ming, and he still try to come back and do things for his team. Um, China has been pushing the crap out of him. I mean, they want him to play for the Olympics every year. They want him to go play for their team after their NBA season is over. I mean, that's overdue. I mean, you already get 2.5 months anyways when you're off. That's provided. Well, I mean, it depends if you didn't make the playoffs, okay, you get about 4 months. You make the playoffs, you're talking about 3 months of rest. And you make the finals, you're probably like 2.5 months, and you still want to do all this other stuff for your country. That's a tall order. I mean, and he's a nice guy too. But I mean, I don't personally know him, but you could tell in his interviews that he's a pretty nice guy. Um, and it's kind of sad because he's really a great player. I used to say he was weak when he first entered because he would just let people go inside on him. And part of that problem was because he played flat foot. And if you ever play basketball, you can't play flat foot on defense. You have to be on your heels, basically, or you're gonna be off balance, and that's how people just blow by you or just push you around. Um, but he's a tremendous scorer, a great rebound, great defender. Um, Only played 8 seasons, and I personally think that he's a Hall of Fame. With only playing 8 years, I think he's a Hall of Fame. I think they should retire his jersey in Houston because him and T Mac were the shit in Houston, and everybody knew them. Um, they their team was good without them. I mean, their team basically has roles players all the time when they're injured. And they T Mac and Yao Ming had not been injured their whole career. They would have been good. I thought they was championship worthy. That year, Yao Ming got injured right before the playoffs. T Mac had to carry it on his own against Utah, who Andre Karolinko, AK-47, he's a great defender, but still T Mac would still be able to do as much as he could. Took it to a 7-game series, but in the end they couldn't be at. T Mac never really got past the first round. I mean, he was on the Rockets that one year that they did advance past the first round, but he was injured for the playoffs. I don't see how that counts, but it's sad that those are. Yeah, I mean, is having to retire. I mean, I would think it's based on his injuries. I kind of, if I were him, I would wait for since the NBA seems to be going to this lockout. It seems inevitable. Um, why not wait till the next season? Give your body some rest. So and have a chance to build up because that's my only that's the only reason I can see why he's retiring because of his injuries but maybe he thinks at this point there's nothing he doesn't want to ruin his body for his life. And I can understand that. He's putting in a lot of great work still, and like I said, I think he should be Hall of Famer. Not like as soon as he retired in 5 years, uh, he should go to Hall of Fame. I'm not saying that, but I think at some point he has to be considered for Hall of Fame because he was a great player, and not just an international player that played for the NBA, but period. He was a great NBA player. He's one of those international players that has done a lot for the game. I mean, you already have Steve Nash, Canadian, Dirk Nowitzki just won a championship. Um, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. They multiple championships. I mean, he he should get as much credit. I pay that man his ultimate respect. Um, so farewell, Yao Ming. You will be missed by those, especially one of those in Houston. Um, there's not going to be that many players like you either, as well as Shaq. So that ends my segment for today. Um, Hopefully next time, maybe on my next video, I can talk about a little bit of what happened to E4 with E4 a couple of weeks ago. Um, some interesting games that will come out later this year or head into earlier next year. Yeah, we'll see where we're going next. Okay, so I'm almost out of time with this YouTube. So this is Street Design logging off. See you next time.